What's going on, Cats fans? Welcome back to the channel on a Sunday night. It's me, Ben Reeve, your host of the show, and I'm joined by the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Paul James. Welcome, Paul.
We're winners, so I'm here.
We are winners. I was going to say we were top of the ladder. We're not quite top of the ladder. I think we've been our percentage. While it was okay, we had a reasonable win. Some other teams.
We can't all have a 66-6 result like North Melbourne and end up with a percentage of over 600 or something absurd like that.
Yes, so crazy results in the footy, but it seems to be a few teams that are really up there and a few that are struggling. All right, so let's have a look at the result, though. So the Cats, as we said, Cats got the job done over Sydney, up at North Sydney Oval by 27 points in front of a tick under 3,000 people. Now, this was all about Chloe Shear, Paul. 5 goals from her and ably supported by Jackie Parry and Nemo Morrison bobs up for a goal as well, and Nina pretty active there in the stats as well with 21 touches. No one absolutely blew it apart. No Prasparkas on the stat sheet this week, but Newman did okay on their side as well, and Chloe Malloy clearly expect a bit from her as well. What are your initial thoughts? Well, we, as I said, we were nearly top of the ladder, but we're going okay. You're feeling pretty good about things for the AFLW team?
Yeah, things are trucking along all right so far. It might be hard to get a little bit of a read because Sydney was the team that finished dead last year without a win. And same with last week's opponent wasn't necessarily anything super flash hot. So it's hard to get a super clear line of sight, but all you can do is beat the opposition that you got on the day. I don't know. I mean, I guess Sydney winning last week and then kicking 40 plus points against us this week. I don't know if that's reflective of Sydney having come a long way in one season. We certainly started the game on fire with Shear kicking 3 goals and Georgie was lighting it up with 9 disposals in the first quarter. And Georgie, I think, kind of reflected the Cats for the rest of the day, where just seemed to take the foot off the gas a little bit. Things kind of dialed down. We weren't hitting the scoreboard as frequently or as freely as before. Sydney started to get their game going a little bit. It was an interesting sort of day where I think a few players in particular mirrored the broader team. But I don't know if... Yeah, I don't necessarily know what to think just yet. It's hard to get a clear line of sight.
It's way too early. It's two rounds in. It's hard to know.
Out of 10, though, we're 20% of the way through the season.
Exactly, about 20% of the way through the season. I think the big test will be next week when we come up against North, who have been at the pointy end of most AFLW campaigns since inception. So we'll see how we go with that. I probably should point out it was the 50th game. Now, to get 50 games in AFLW is a pretty good achievement. So Alicia Newman from the Sydney Swans knocked that up on the weekend. So congrats to her. Yes, this is a Geelong show, but occasionally we give a bit of love to the other team, sometimes the other supporters. So well done to Alicia Newman there. Did we talk about Chloe Shear enough yet? No, we haven't. Clearly not. 3 goals in the first quarter for Chloe Shear, absolutely tearing it up. And Prasparkas as well until they locked down on her, which I think you sort of mentioned. Meg McDonald too. She was an absolute fortress down back. She was marking everything coming her way and repelling. And the game was won in the first quarter, really. And there was a bit of an arm wrestle after that. But game over, really.
Yeah, that first term's kind of set the tone for the rest of the game. I don't think the Cats necessarily read the script afterwards, as I've kind of touched on from there, where they kind of just let things slide a little bit. But absolutely, it was a really dominant start, and it was an awesome display of footy to see early on in the piece. And you thought, okay, like this could end up being what essentially we saw today with North versus Carlton, for example, where it was just an absolute whitewash. But didn't quite net out that way, but certainly shows what we are absolutely capable of doing.
Got close. I was a bit worried about Fred Flanagan's goal kicking record when Chloe Shear bobs up early in the second quarter with her 4th goal. I thought, here we go, we're on here. Career best after about 20, 30 minutes of footy. Absolutely loving it. But look, as we mentioned, the Swans mounted a mini comeback and got a little bit closer towards the end of that end of the half, and we just kept them at arm's length there. Have you seen the highlight? I wish I had downloaded the highlight and I could show it on the show, but Amy McDonald put them in the spin cycle. They still don't know where she's gone. She feigned the handball, did a 720 or whatever it is, and then kicked it to Aisling Maloney, who I don't know if she kicked the goal. I can't remember, but she just gave the fist bump after she took the mark. It was great.
No, Aisling missed, but it was the whole play was incredible. I quoted it on Twitter or X or whatever the hell we want to call it now. yesterday at some point. Like, it's just one of the best things I've seen in footy. Full stop. Got a real soft spot for Amy Mack. She's a brilliant player. Plays the game exactly how it should be played, men's or women's. And to add that sort of polish and that sort of little bit of flair and style on top is just the cherry on top. A brilliant player.
We'll have to get that on the Sports Centre top 10, like when Maddie Scarlett did the toe poke and got on there.
Yeah.
So that was some of the. We both love our basketball. That was some. It just reminded me of some fake out
Some
moves.
NBA
Absolutely, moves, yeah. Michael Jordan cupping the ball and just hiding it behind his back and all that sort of stuff. That was just crazy. Highlight of the year in round 2, really. All right, into the fourth quarter. Chloe Shear, you can't tie her down. She bobs up for a fifth, and Jackie Parry gets her third and pretty much put the game to bed, really. I mean, the Swans, to their credit, young team, new team in the comp, expansion side. They challenged a couple of times, really.
They gave us a fright for a while there.
Yeah, but we did enough to put them to bed and ended up winning the game, as I said earlier, by 27 points. So pretty happy with that, really. Do you think Chloe Shear, again, early days, 20% of the into the season, but is Chloe Shear an All-Australian chance this year? I don't think she's won one before. Definitely not for the Cats anyway.
Look, she's putting her best foot forward at this point. It's been 6 goals in 2 games. I know there's a couple of players that are outstripping her at the moment when it comes to that. I think that there's a couple, maybe 7 or 8. But it's been a really strong start, and she's doing it fairly easily. So
yeah, for a small forward too. She's not
as a small forward. That's the thing that kind of gets lost. Is she's like 165 centimeters or something like that. So she's not this gigantic hulking presence that you can just pump it on her head and let her do the work. Like, she really has to put in the work and work her opponent over, and does an amazing job in doing so. So I don't see why not. She's brilliant. So
yeah, no, I think she's absolutely fantastic. And I just love the way the Cats went about it all day long. Relentless pressure, the ball use, the way they move the ball, the way they dispose of it. It's just beautiful to watch. As you mentioned earlier, it's the way footy should be played. It's great to watch. Hopefully, Paul, we get to see a bit more of that on Friday night when we come up against the Kangaroos at GMHBA or Kithian Park. I'm getting along to that game, so
good.
I'm a little bit excited. Do you reckon you'll get to any AFL? Because you're a little bit further away than I am, and it's a tricky time, this one. But
I've got to double check. I've got to double check the time.
5:05, I think it is on Friday.
No chance on a work night to be able to get over there then. But I do want to get to, for the reasons we've just discussed. Like, there's a purity to the way the game's being played that I'm really loving. The girls are doing an amazing job. I want to make sure I show my support for what the girls have been doing. But yeah, certainly the times are tricky. I guess we're about to come into school holidays, which unlocks some possibilities for me. 5:05 is not totally out of the realms because it's actually the last day of term, so it gives me an extra hour up my sleeve to get there. But it might still be tight with little kids of the age that they are. So we'll see how we go. It'll be a great game to get to. This is certainly North are one of the top teams in the comp. Geelong, the argument is there to be made that we'll be one of the very top teams in the comp too. So it could be a really fascinating clash. So I'll certainly be keen to watch it on TV, if nothing else, or on my phone, if nothing else.
Yeah, look, I hope we get. I said I'll be going along. Hopefully we can get close to that 6,000 or 7,000. I think we might have had 4 or something like that last time around, round 1. So hopefully we can give it a bit more of a nudge north of that this time around. It'd be good to see a big crowd get there and get behind the girls, because if you're ever going to get behind the girls, we're top 4, real big finals chance this year, and possibly a big chance to go deep in the finals as well. And if you're like me, and I'm assuming like you too, Paul, you're craving some Cats content. Well, it's out there right in front of you at the moment every weekend. So
go get it.
It's a club. Geelong is a football club, and there's a few teams in this club. So get behind all the teams, I reckon. I love it. I think the standard of the footy has just gone through the roof in the last 24 months. I think it's absolutely fantastic now. I'm just loving it. Mate, now this is we've got 2 parts to this show tonight. So we're going to end this live stream shortly, but we'll be back in about 20 minutes or so, 15, 20 minutes or so. We're going to review the AFL men's finals games as well. So if you're keen to sort of hear our thoughts on that, we're actually going to go through all 4 games of that. And I've got special guests coming on as well, Pommy from Pommy and Oz and the Blue Broad show. So that should be a bit of fun. Carlton's absolutely flying. So yeah, if you want to stick around for that, we'd love to see you. But if you're not interested in that, we'll catch you on the next one. We'll do these every week.
Before we do bounce, though, there's one little segment you've missed there in the votes for the week.
Oh, the votes! I can't
allocated
forget the
some
votes.
We cannot go forgetting the votes. And so,
thank you, Paul. Thank you.
I'll give you credit. These are your votes here, but I'll read them out for you. Jackie Parry with her 3 goals with the 1 vote there. Nina Morrison, as you touched on before, 1 goal herself, 20 plus disposals, fantastic game. Really showing why she's the number 1 draft pick from a few years back with the 2 votes. And then Chloe Shear, hard to ignore with that 5 goal output. So with the 3 votes there.
Yeah, and probably
sorry to hijack that on you, but
not at all, Paul. Sometimes you got to pull. I get a little carried away sometimes, so pull me back. But no, I think there's a couple other girls a bit unlucky there too that you could have easily, maybe 5 or 6 that you could have given some votes to. So overall, a really good team effort. So as I said, I just love the way they're playing their footy at the moment. And Dan Lowther's just a fantastic coach for that club. And just really cares, just has some genuine care for the girls, and they seem to really respect him as well.
Yeah.
All right. So, we'll keep going. Did I miss anything else, Paul? I think that's it.
No, that's it. The run sheet is squeaky clean now.
Relatively short show tonight because we've got the men's finals on at the same time. So as they start to sort of peter away, we might focus a little bit more on the AFLW stuff, but we're trying to spread ourselves over a few different things at the minute. So we'll hopefully see you in a few minutes on the next one. But if not, go Cats, and we'll see you next time. Take care, everyone. See ya.
See ya.